How y'all doing? And welcome to Loud Cry. Now, many of us, everybody knows about Revelation, the book of Revelation. But how many of us know exactly what's in Revelation? And not only what's in Revelation, but do you honestly know where America is in prophecy? And, I get questions all the time of where is America in prophecy? Where is America in prophecy? Well, that's what we're going to take a look at today. I believe, as us being American, of course, that if we do not clearly understand and know where America is at in prophecy, then how can you discern where you're at in this world's timetable? And of course, beloved, the devil would have you to be ignorant of the time. You could be on the edge of eternity and not even know it. And even more than that, with you living in America and not knowing where she is in prophecy, you won't know what she's doing in prophecy. See, not only the knowing of where she at, but by knowing where she's at, you'll understand and know what she's doing and what she's gonna do. And by knowing what she's gonna do, you'll be able to prepare yourself, your family, and your friends, bro. And your friends. When we go to Revelation chapter 13, and we start at verse 11, it speaks of a beast that comes up out of the earth on dry land. It had two horns of a lamb, but it spake as a dragon. Is this America? Is this the country that you live in? Why does it have two horns of a lamb? How does she speak as a dragon? I believe it's of the utmost importance that you know and understand these things clearly, so that not only for yourself, but we all have family and friends, and we need to be warning each other and telling each other, not just for a good table conversation, but so we can prepare and be ready for the storm that's coming. Now let's look at those two horns. The two horns of a lamb. A lamb in the Bible was always depicted as innocence, and also of Christ, So does this nation, did our nation start off appearing innocent? Land of the free. Everybody, you're welcome. Come on over, it's the land of the free. Did our nation start off as Christian? Was our forefathers Christians, or did they say they were Christians? And it said it spake as a dragon. Now you have the appearance of Christianity and pureness, innocent, but his actions were that of the devil. Well, did our country, our great nation, start off appearing to be innocent, Christian, pure, but did our actions say something completely different? Beloved, our country had enslaved not only blacks. Many people love to focus on black slaves, but beloved, they had every single kind of culture enslaved here. Matter of fact, the Japanese and the Chinese helped finish the railroads. And of course we know that the land was stolen from the Native Americans and also the Hispanics who were living amongst, not only from North Carolina all the way to Texas and California. Beloved, did our nation speak as a dragon? Were her actions evil? While she claimed to be pure, innocent, and Christian? Was she following the beliefs of this book right here? And what does God say she's going to do in the future? Is the most important question, what we're going to deal with here. Where is America in prophecy? It's like that game we used to play growing up. Where is Waldo? Well, when you look at Revelation, where is America? And what is she up to? And why does the devil want to keep her hid? This is Loud Cry. Let's Let's go see where America's.
I'm Marvin Lohman, and this is Loud Cry.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now in found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to bear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Yet we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less ways to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace.
A lot of times people will ask me, I'll be somewhere and the top of the Bible will come up and end times, and they say, if America's such a world player, where do you find them in the Bible? Why in America, with it being the world's only superpower, why isn't it listed in the Bible? And I always tell them, it is if you know where to look. It's a very simple thing. It's found in Revelation 13, starting in chapter 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And I say, how do you get the United States is that beast? Well, in prophecy, a beast represents a country or a nation, and he says that. Let me see. It says that it was a lamb-like beast, which if a beast represents a nation, then this would be a young beast since it's lamb-like. So America is a young country. And, it says that it has two horns. And America was founded on the principle of civil liberty and religious liberty. So you have your two horns, and there's crowns missing. We're not a monarchy. We're governed by laws. Do you understand that, Elijah? Yeah?
Could you go into more detail?
Oh, what do you want to know? Anything in specifically? America was first recognized as a world power. I mean, we had our Declaration of Independence signed in 1776, but it wasn't until I believe 1798 that America was called a world power for the first time. Do you know what happened also in 1798 that would be significant?
Well, in 1798, the Rome had their pope taken away by General Berthier by orders of Napoleon, and he was taken into captive, thereby fulfilling the Bible verse about the Great Wound.
The Great Wound. I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed because it was healed again in what year?
1929.
1929. Yes, it was. Now it's interesting that America is noted in prophecy because I was telling a good friend of mine earlier that we always go by this standard: the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. America is that final beast of prophecy. It's the second beast who gives strength to the first beast. Now prophecy seems to be moving west because Babylon, when they were overthrown by a country to the west of them. Medo-Persia was west of Babylon, and then they were overthrown by the Greeks, which was west of Medo-Persia, and then Rome was west of Greece. Now as we enter into the final days, as far west as you can go before you're heading east again is the United States, and I can't help but think that's significant.
Can you tell me about this verse? And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. What is the significance of coming up out of the earth?
Well, out of the earth tends to represent the fact that water usually represents multitudes, nations, languages, peoples, but the earth would represent a sparse area where it's not a lot of population. Now, where was America founded?
It was founded. Where was it founded?
Yeah, it was founded in a region where there weren't very many people. We had some disputes and squabbles and wars with the Indian tribes who were here, but it's nothing like the amount of people that was in Europe. So it rose up, instead of out of a really populated area, the first beast rose up out of the water, or out of the sea, which represents multitude, nations, languages, tongues, and people. Whereas the second beast come up in a relatively unpopulated area.
The New World.
The New World, and again, it's a young nation, so it'd be lamb-like. It would have a gentle nature like a lamb, but it would speak as a dragon. Now, we started out largely representative as a Christian nation, a peaceful nation, but as time goes on, we're starting to speak more and more like a dragon. And one day, we will give power and enforce the mark of the beast for the first beast.
And not only that, but around the time that Rome received its deadly wound and had the Pope taken away captive, America started rising, which was around 1798. The second beast arose after the first beast received its deadly wound. Is that correct?
The second beast started to come to fruition and power as this one was going down. America was coming up, and we've done more in the name of Christ. We've sent the gospel around the globe, so we look very lamb-like and Christian, but at the same time, we take war around the earth. So more and more, we're speaking like a dragon.
Loud cry.
How y'all doing? Welcome back to Loud Cry. I'm Joshua Wiley.
I'm David Reese.
In this episode, we've been talking about where is America in prophecy? Where is America in prophecy? You know, David, I'm driving home after work one day, and I hear a minister on the radio, and he says, he has a big following, and he says, because America isn't in prophecy. And those words just struck a chord, and I'm like, okay, maybe sometimes as ministers, we don't want to tell the public or tell someone, hey, I just don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Just be honest, like, well, let me look for it, I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody asked him, do you know where America's at in Revelation? And he's like, well, and he couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
But what's sad is, the devil would gain so much by keeping people blind to where America is really at in prophecy. And that's why I think this episode is so important. I think it's important for you to know, for you to know where America is really at in prophecy.
Oh yeah, and I agree. And the thing is, you know, it's hard to think that one of the biggest superpowers of our time wouldn't be anywhere in biblical prophecy. You know, it's commonly said, when America sneezes, the whole world gets a cold.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, you know, and when America's economy, as we've been seeing, goes down, the whole world suffers for it. So it's hard to think that, you know, this superpower, this beast, you could say, would have no place in biblical prophecy, but it does.
No, and one of the reasons that you had just touched on, and I want to expound a little bit, is one of the reasons I believe the devil wants to keep people blind to American prophecy is if you don't see him in prophecy or know where they're at, know where America's at, then you won't know what he's up to. America, you know, you won't know what he's fulfilling.
What the agenda
and you
is.
don't, yeah, exactly. You won't know what their agenda is. Revelation 13.
Yep.
Let's go to Revelation 13.
About to say it.
and let's start off at verse 11. Let's start off at verse 11. It says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon."
And one cool thing about this is the only time in Scripture where a lamb and the dragon are put together into one being.
That's deep. That's deep.
And we know the lamb represents
innocence.
innocence, and it
Christianity.
represents Christ, yes. And what does the dragon represent?
The evil.
It represents the devil. In Revelation 12, verse 9, just to let Scripture interpret itself, it says, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan." So we see something that looks like Christ. It says it has horns like a lamb, but speaks like the devil.
And let's look at America. I love putting history with the word. You cannot separate history and the Bible. What's the motto of the show? The truth loves investigation. Now let's look at when America was started to say, hey, this is the land of the free, home of the brave, come on over here. But it appeared innocent. It appeared like a lamb. We're a Christian nation. This is a free nation. It appeared innocent, but his actions, speaking is an action. So it says his actions will speak of evilness and wickedness and of the devil.
Oh, exactly.
It appeared innocent as Christian, but it spake as the devil had every type of slave for every culture.
Because of America, Christianity is seen as a Western religion. Most places say, but it really is. It's an Eastern religion. You know, that's where it started. But because of America, so you can see how much like a lamb America originally looked. But now, I mean, like we've talked about before, it is complete rebellion against God.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the point to where it says it has 2 horns as a lamb, but it spake as a dragon. Its actions are evil. You know, when you look at how America started, it said, come on over here. But the minute you come over here, if you wasn't of a certain group of elite status, you were enslaved. Now the devil would love us to just focus on black and white slaves. Ooh, you know, and that's true. Over 20 million blacks died even on the way over here and during slavery. But they had every type of slave: Japanese, Chinese, even white slaves, which they call indentured servants. So here you have this country who says we're the land of the free, home of the brave, but it is enslaving, pillaging, robbing, stealing, you know, from the Trail of Tears with the Native Americans, things of that nature. So you have this beast power who comes up. And what's verse 12?
It says, "And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed." And what's interesting here is, like I said a few minutes ago, when America sneezes, the whole world gets a cold. Okay, it has to be a world power according to this verse. It says it causes the whole world, not just the West.
Right. Great point.
Not just Canada and Mexico, but the whole world. You know, and we see that America causes the whole world to do many things. I mean, where did the United Nations meet? On our soil.
Right. Right. And I like verse 14. It says, "And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live." Now, there's a spiritual image, and then there's the literal image. And this first beast, as we've already talked about in the earlier episode, was Rome.
was Rome. And if you look at the Roman Catholic Church, you know, over from 50 million to 200 million Christians were killed just for owning the Bible. And we're told that this beast that rises up after will make another image.
Or a likeness. I used to
Yeah.
say an image or a likeness.
A
It'll be
likeness. And that might be
like-
better for them
yeah.
to understand. A likeness. So could it be that they're going to set up something to where that's going to persecute Christians and Christianity all over again?
It will be like Rome, the Roman Catholic Church during the Dark Ages, is what it will be like.
Right.
And a lot of people, I think it's interesting, about 50 years ago, a lot of people said that's impossible.
Right,
That
right.
could never happen.
Right.
But now,
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, it's starting to unfold in front of our eyes very quickly. We're starting to see how the Constitution's hanging by a thread now.
Right.
Something that some people
Oh,
back
wow.
50 years ago would say that could never be touched. That's our Constitution.
And they're doing things underhandedly like Rome. A lot of people don't know the only other government to legalize same-sex marriage throughout the country was Rome, other than what America's getting to now. And I'd just like to say, you know, God hates the sin, not the sinner. You know, I have so many, and it's not just homosexual. Let's talk about heterosexuals and problems that even I had. One of the images of Rome that this America sets up back towards Rome is pornography. You know, pornography and fornication.
And adultery. I mean, adultery is glorified in every single movie.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
the cool guy that, you know, he's got 10 girls on the side, you know, and his
Yeah.
wife don't know, and he's perfect at hiding it, you know. I mean, even that new Tyler Perry movie, it's called Temptation, I think.
don't know the
It's a serpent in the form of an apple called Temptation, and the whole movie's about a giant affair. You know.
Or what about the movie with Ashton Kutcher, where him and the girl, they're just friends who fornicate with each
friends with
other?
yeah.
They just fornicate with each other whenever they get horny or those things. You
Yeah.
know, it's sad. You know, the way things are going. You know, and it's so easy. It's so easy for people to just focus on homosexuality and point the fingers at them and you're doing this and doing that. While the main time you're sleeping with all these different people and not married, or you're living together with someone. And matter of fact, that's probably one of the biggest creepers that have been turned okay in our society is how two people living together, not married, and is deemed as okay.
Well, we're married in our hearts. That's what a lot of people.
And this is the image of Rome.
Yeah.
All of this is the image of Rome. The
I mean,
sexual.
Rome was exactly like that. I mean, one show I hate to say that I used to watch was Spartacus. You know, I mean, don't watch that show, but if you have watched that show, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, and that's the Roman Empire right there. It was
sexual
glorified back then, and it's glorified now.
Yeah, that's why you can't have no advertisement without nothing sexual on there. Everything has to be sex, sex, sex. And if you look at all the many things that's being set up, the attacks on Christianity, you cannot even be in the military. If you're in the military and they pass the law, you can come out, you can scream at the top of your lungs, hey, I'm homosexual, I'm gay, I'm out of the closet. You can scream it out and it's legal, but if you scream out, I'm a Christian, you'll get in trouble.
Oh, it's actually even more now. You know, they just made it starting actually September next month, or depending on when this airs.
Right.
But that now they're going to recognize same-sex marriages in the military, give them the same benefits, housing benefits, and all that as everybody else.
That's another part of Rome. Another part of Rome. And a lot of people don't know, in another episode, we're dealing with the image. We're dealing with the image of Rome and how America is becoming a little Rome, as you might say.
Oh, yeah, easily. And see, one of the things that Rome and the Roman Catholic Church prized themselves on was the ability to take people in and they made them Roman, or they made them, you know, Catholic. They put their clothes on them, they taught them their doctrines, this is how you live, and they could take anybody and make them Roman, or, you know, that's one of the things but now what do you hear? Oh, they're westernized.
They're westernized.
They're Americanized, you know. Oh, you know, someone goes to America, comes back to their country, man, you're so American now, you cutting people off in traffic, you dressing all like that, and you talk different now, you know, and it's just like.
There's one thing about
image.
this American prophecy is another reason why I believe the devil wants to keep it from your knowledge and keep it from my knowledge, and that is verse 15. Now we're in Revelation 13, 11 through the end of the chapter is all about America. But let's read verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. You look at, just Google FEMA camps. You got FEMA camps, these concentration camps, the Georgia Guidestones. There is an evil agenda of work.
Yeah, there's open laws for it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people look at the president now like, oh, he's passed all this stuff, but go back to Bush. He passed the Patriot Act. This paves the road for everything. They could spy on you. They could tap into your phones. They could do all this. That's what the Patriot Act did.
Yeah.
Well, now we have two laws. One, that if you're perceived against the government, you can be locked up indefinitely. They can lock you up, throw away the key.
Right.
Also, if they feel like you're against the country, they can assassinate you.
Yeah.
And they've actually done it once or twice. And these got passed on the, oh, we're just using it for terrorists. But it doesn't say that.
No,
it
not in the
says
description at all.
it says if they feel you're against the government.
Yeah.
And what did we learn, a few months ago?
Who's really against the government? Who's their number one homeland terrorist?
The top of the list are evangelical Christians, Christians that take the Bible literally and study biblical prophecy.
The number one homeland terrorist that they say in America is, like we said before, evangelical Christians and Christians who take the Bible literally. How dangerous is that? What are we really witnessing? What's really happening underhandedly?
Oh, I mean, one of the things that they talk about taking literally is the creation. Because if you believe in the Creator God created the world in 6 days, you can't believe evolution.
And I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Loud Cry. And remember now, the truth loves investigation. The truth loves investigation. Y'all have a blessed one.
When I'm lost in the shadows, weary from the lies, when I'm nothing more than broken, you stand by my side. You fill my heart with wonder, and with every star that shines, it reminds